Somewhere on the dark, still waters surrounding Baymard, the ambitious painter and sculptor Marcus Perquo broods in his chambers, his mind filled with fury toward the ruler of Baymard, Landon Barn, as he prepares to demand compliance from the upstart king. The next morning, the tranquility of Baymard is shattered when Landon Barn receives word of a loud commotion at the palace gates, where a self-proclaimed genius artist has arrived to force a confrontation. Landon approaches the gate to find Marcus Perquo, a man whose fame spans 3 continents, waiting with 100 men, radiating the arrogance of one who believes he stands above monarchs. Confident in his status and his private army, Marcus sneers at the Baymardian guards, fully expecting the young king to grovel at his feet for the sake of his prestigious autograph. Landon remains unmoved by the painter's haughty demands, calmly questioning why such a supposedly learned aristocrat has abandoned his manners the moment he stepped foot into Baymard. With a flick of his wrist and a hidden pebble, Landon cuts short the painter's tirade, forcing the arrogant man to his knees right before the palace gates. As Marcus forces himself to his feet, a dark realization sets in. The witnesses to his public humiliation must be silenced, or his influence across the continent will shatter like glass. Marcus is led into the audience hall, where the sheer ethereal beauty of the palace leaves him trembling with desire to capture the sight on canvas. Yet he forces himself to remain cold, stabbing his own hand to stay focused on his mission. Inside the audience hall, Marcus makes his demands, declaring that the Art Society will no longer tolerate the abominations being taught in Baymard's Academy of Arts and Beauty. The painter attacks Baymard's vibrant, expressive art, labeling everything that doesn't fit their narrow, dark-toned intellectual categories as trash, demanding that Landon cease all production of paint and art supplies. Landon finds their elitism laughable, realizing these people are nothing more than greedy con men terrified that the common folk can now afford quality materials, breaking their long-held monopoly. The Art Society reaches the height of their audacity, demanding that the manufacturing processes for all Baymardian school supplies be handed over to them so they can control the market. Landon's laughter echoes through the hall, joined by his guards and secretaries, leaving Marcus and his men stunned and increasingly enraged at the blatant mockery. Marcus issues a final, chilling threat, comparing the king to a chicken playing in the den of a predator, guaranteeing that the Art Society will tear him down just as they allegedly did for others. Landon rises, his aura turning dark and oppressive, instantly silencing the room as he makes his own guarantee, forcing the invaders to their knees through sheer, visceral pressure. The audience hall transforms into a battlefield. Landon dismantles the opposition with ease, while his secretaries prove that they are far from the defenseless desk workers Marcus expected. Landon turns the chaos into a grim dance, using a terrified Marcus as a shield and weapon against his remaining guards, proving that the painter's arrogance was no match for the king's prowess. With his ego shattered and his men unconscious, Marcus begs for mercy, swearing he will never return, all while plotting his vengeance in the back of his mind. After stripping them of their treasures as compensation, Landon has the battered men dumped back onto their ships, banning them from Baymard forever, while unbeknownst to them, he marks them with tracking systems. The sight of the once proud painter wiggling like a worm to protect his loot becomes a spectacle for local children, unknowingly becoming the target of the town's ridicule. With the trash removed, Landon turns his focus to his allies, celebrating the completion of ports across Arcadina and Tariq, marking a new era of rapid trade and travel. But a new, creeping nightmare threatens the continent. Invasive tumbleweeds, greedy vampire plants that choke out farmlands and ignite like fuel during storms, now spreading across the neighboring empires. As the kingdom readies its defenses, Landon prepares for a perilous journey to secure the throne for Henry, unaware that dark forces from the Temple of Dragmas and the scheming Eliza are already converging on the path ahead. Far away on the open seas, a temple primate trusts in a legendary ring of victory, oblivious to the fact that his base of operations will be rubble by the time he arrives. Deep in Arcadina, the vengeful Eliza enforces her iron rule over a terrified village, dreaming of returning to the palace as Queen Mother while her hired assassins prepare to strike. Landon's forces reach the hidden fortress in the forest, reuniting with Henry, whose determination to reclaim his throne is fueled by the tragic memories of his grandfather's death at the hands of the royals. Inside the impenetrable base, the final stage of the rebellion begins, as they map out the brutal customs and tyrannical councils of Deiphorus that must be dismantled to secure a future for the people.